Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. So I'm in a Wi-Fi location. I don't know if I'm cutting out or not. Hopefully I'm good.
Yeah, I'm the same. So can you hear all the background or not?
It's not that bad. So hopefully we won't make our audience too crazy today.
Yeah, I know it's not ideal. I went to Starbucks and they wouldn't let anyone sit inside. So then I was scrambling trying to find somewhere, and I found somewhere, but then it's super loud. So I'm just like, anyway, we're here. So how are you?
I'm good, and I think this shows our commitment to do this no matter what. Last week, you and Dave were in Tulum, Mexico, for the Multipliers Brotherhood, which I'm a part of, and wish I could have been at. My daughter's birthday was Wednesday, the day I would have flown out, and I'd made a commitment never to miss one of my kids' birthdays, so I didn't go. But we are able to keep the show going, and Brisa and I stepped on last week and kept it going, so we haven't missed a week yet. Dave's on a plane today, and you and I are in remote locations. We're not missing a week. So our commitment is here for you people who are watching, who come and ask questions. And I'm excited today to kind of just have a chat and kind of talk to the audience and see if there's any questions and find out what's going on. Gavin, what's going on in your life, man?
Yeah, just a lot going on. Hectic, crazy. I'm in Phoenix right now. And we are enclosed on a house in Savannah, but it's got title issues. We're doing a rehab on the house in Phoenix, trying to get that ready to Airbnb. Then just working and just kind of all over the place. Obviously, I was in Tulum, Mexico last week for the mastermind, which is good. And I highly recommend, I think everyone needs, there's obviously levels, right, in terms of where everybody's at, but I think everyone needs a mastermind, right, in my opinion. Because it's kind of the community and coaching programs as well, really. Coaching program, and then you lead into masterminds, depending on your level. But you need to surround yourself with the right people at the right time for the right things, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
It does. Yeah. I've been somebody who's done a lot of my business building on my own through the years. When I started, I always talk about this. I'm an old man in the industry now, 20 years. And they didn't have YouTube University, they didn't have podcasts, they didn't have access to the information people have now. And it was really hard to figure out who in the community you should coordinate and mastermind or network with. So the opportunities to do that now are amazing. And it's two things are interesting. One is just being in the right room with the right people, how much has changed my business. I always talk about I was in 5 masterminds until recently, and I'm dropping a few of them. I'll drop down to like 3 masterminds, but I'll always be in masterminds because just surrounding yourself with the right network and seeing things through a different lens is extremely important in business. The other thing, though, is when you do that, and I'm going to be transparent and vulnerable here, when I stepped into some of these masterminds originally, I have to admit that I wasn't open to being coached. I wasn't coachable. And because I had been on my own or done it my way or been kind of anti-competitor for so long, I was scarcity mindset that I wasn't coachable. And that's something that took a minute to, I think, even admit, ego-wise that, we're always talking about being coachable to people that we work with. And here I'm not open to being coachable. And it's very important to be open to being coachable, to be open to new ideas. Even if you're not part of a coaching program or a mastermind community, if you just go into RIAs or you're going to lunch with other investors, it's important to be able to see things through a different lens or to see opportunities a different way, just to know that I am on the right track, even if it's just confirmation, right? So I don't know if you got anything you want to say about that, but I just wanted to kind of add that to, I see so many people now that say, I hear you, but, or that applies to you, but not to me, or they're not willing to really share what their struggle is, or, those kind of things. And that makes them not coachable. And so in order to be successful in this business, you've got to be open to new things, new people, new ideas.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're exactly right. And this goes for, me included, but that but word is it's like a dynamite, right? It can ruin a lot of things and it can close you off. and you use the right word in terms of coachable, because everyone tries to justify their actions instead of owning them. Well, I did this and this, but, and then they try and justify why they're doing that. So I think you're 100% right. And it was, last week was huge for me. You learn a lot about yourself, and especially when you dig deep and other people are calling it out on you, right? I think that's important as well, when in the right way, to go, well, what do you mean by that, right? Like, one of the main things I can share is, like, when it comes down to vision, right? I talked about it in a coaching call. It's really important. I'm going to be talking more about this, but I created a vision, right, for a lifestyle business, and the bit that I missed was that was my vision, right? That was not family's vision. That was my vision. I just paired it with a family vision, if that makes sense.
Makes
So
100% sense. Yeah.
so when someone questioned me and said, "But is that your vision or your family's vision?" I was like, "No, it's our vision." And I didn't ask you that. Is that, like, your family's vision or your vision? And then I started to think, and I was like, it's my vision. I don't know what their vision is. I have no idea, right? And then you can start looking and kind of like, wow, like, and the realization hits, right? And but that's all about growing, developing as a person, and as you said, putting the ego aside. We have, in these masterminds, a lot of successful people are in there. A lot of successful people making a lot of money, people making way more money than me, right? And but it's quite unique when things get real, and it's good because we're in this box, as entrepreneurs, right? We're wired a little different, and no, unless you're an
We're broken.
entrepreneur.
We're broken. Go ahead.
Yeah. We're broken. Yeah, but no one knows until you meet another entrepreneur. Only do
Right.
you go. You don't even need to talk, and you go. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We all know, and we just have. It's like a code. You know what I mean? And people
Right.
watching this that are entrepreneurs are going to go, yeah, I know. And people that maybe are working jobs, or they're not, or they're or on their, an early version, or an early vision of being an entrepreneur, probably don't know yet, but you will know. And trying to get that balance is critical. I mean, there's just so many things that we could talk about on this.
I think it's a good way to go because we have sat in rooms with high level people, and when it gets real, it gets real. And a lot of the issue is they created a prison. We talk about it all the time. They created a business they didn't want, or like you said, they had a vision, but the family wasn't included, and you see
Yeah.
the family is no longer in a good place, or in some cases, now some of these guys we've gotten to hang out with or divorced or getting divorced. And there's all these things that are going on because when I say we're broken, I say it tongue in cheek, but it's true. I mean, we're risk adverse, so we take chances that normal human being won't take as an entrepreneur. We're very driven, so usually when we have a win, we don't celebrate the win. It's just on to the next challenge. And then we're very great. Most entrepreneurs, myself, being one of them, we're great at compartmentalizing. So we don't always stop and feel the pain of something, or feel the loss, or feel, even like I said, the win. We just put it in a box and pack it away and move on to the next challenge. And I don't know that normal people, quote unquote, normal, everyday, hanging out, people that don't have the same drive or desire to bang their head against the brick wall that we have, um, you know, they not only don't understand us, they don't always relate to us, but they don't always want to live in the world that we're living in. And so many of us, I don't think, take the time to be respectful or understanding of that. I mean, now I'm almost 50 years old now. Now looking back, I can say, okay, I should have framed things differently. I should have asked before I leapt in a couple of situations before I took the leap. I could say that, but early on in your career, you can't always say that. And so it's something that, I think it's a good thing to flesh out in a conversation like this when people are going to be watching this or listening to this, that as you're building your business, and maybe you're early on or even just getting started, to really, be cognizant of the people around you. And I'm not talking about the people around you that are downers. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Those people prove them wrong. But if your spouse is a downer per se, then frame the conversation in a way that gets them to buy in, and maybe it's, let me do proof of concept and show you, and then let me do this and show you, and include them and in that, and bring them along for the ride in a way that's respectful. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to go a lot further in your future. I don't know if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I turn clients down, I wouldn't say a lot, but have done, where one spouse is on board and the other's not. And then
Right.
let's just say I'm just picking a guy. The guy will go, well, I don't care what she says, I'm doing it anyway. And I'm like, look, like, you're going to struggle if you have to get home every night and you have to listen to why you made this decision and she told you it wouldn't work and you haven't got a result yet and you ain't made no money and all that negativity that's going to be coming at you. Now, this business is hard enough without trying to go through that and perform and work and do family and kids and all that stuff as well. So I think you're exactly right. I think you have to work on, and that's what I tell them, you need to get your wife on board or your husband on board and include them and give like milestones, as you just said, like small wins, like, look, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and then get them to go, yeah, that makes sense. All right, I know, I'm more clear now, and to be able to start that journey. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So crazy times. Don't need this to be a Debbie Downer week.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Definitely something to hit on. It's something I think it's front of mind for a lot of us right now. Just kind of watching, our own businesses, watching what's going on in other people's businesses, and the conversation resonates the same. At the end of the day, are we celebrating wins? Are we including the people that are closest to us in these wins or in these decisions? Do we have the business and the life that we want? Right now I stepped out of Sean McCloskey's business vision conference. This is the second one I've been to, because it's something that it's important. It's like, does your business match your life? Does it match the vision that you have? Does it give you the life that you want? A lot of us think, well, I got to sacrifice my life to have this business, and I'm going to work 100 hours a week and blah, blah, blah. And his whole argument is, no, like, sit down and visualize and pick out the life that you want and build your business around it so that it serves it, not the other way around. And so many people get into this, especially as an entrepreneur, when you have the freedom of choice, and they build their life around their business to serve their business. And they end up with something at the end of the day that's not the reason why we got into this, which is freedom. And so I think it's an important topic for sure.
100%. And again, the entrepreneur is to work harder, right? To work harder, right. and continue to work harder. And it's difficult. You have to really work on it. You have to really work on, and again, some of the shares in the group from last week, and I won't say who they are, but like turning your phone off, right? Putting your phone in another room. One of the guys I thought was really good. He went and got a burner phone, and only like 2 people in his team had the number, and it was only to be called in an emergency. So anything from after 5 o'clock in the evening and at weekends, his phone's off to everybody else. So, you just have to put them things in place, because we can't, it's like we can't control ourselves. You could be at dinner and you're checking emails and you don't even know you're doing it, and you're doing it. Or text it, or you're trying to answer this, or you're trying to do that, or deals going south. And you're like, oh, you're getting out of bed to go and talk to an investor. We just know. We could go on and on and on. And this is just this is just reality. And I think what everyone needs to do is think, me doing this right now, is it going to change anything if I do it right now, or in the morning, or in an hour, or in 15 minutes? And the reality is 99% of the time is no. It isn't going to change if you do it now.
You're right. And if you can't turn your phone off for 30 minutes or an hour for dinner, there's a problem in your business. You don't have the business you used to have. And literally, it's funny we're talking about this, because Texas Day Brazil is my it's my nemesis and my pleasure. I'm a meat guy. So, my daughter and my son will go with me. That's our thing. We'll go to Texas, Brazil once every 3 months or something like that. And we were going a couple weeks ago, and I told my son, I looked at my son, and my daughter likes to get on, like, watch videos on the phone while we're at dinner. And I said, no phones. And my son called me out. He's like, yeah, you say that, but then you get on your phone. And so I stuck my phone in my pocket, and I left that damn thing in my pocket the entire dinner, no matter what happened. And I constantly have alerts to my phone's going off in my pocket, and I didn't touch it. And it was a great experience. I mean, it was really a great experience. We had conversation, we laughed, we enjoyed ourselves, and that's what matters. That's what we're doing this for, right? And so it was cool to kind of just be reminded of that, even myself, not following rules and needing to do so. So,
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's and then one more thing I want to hit, so we can get on the topic of what we do here, which is closing. I closed. I was at our mastermind meeting a couple weeks ago, and I was dealing with the seller. It was a high-end property, so I was on the phone with the seller, just kind of making sure it came to the finish line. It's going to be a 6-figure assignment for us. Should have closed like next Monday, and I realized I closed that one, and then I worked on something else, and I realized something too is I love closing, and I've been out of that and not feeling alive, I think, in my business for a little while, even though I've had some great things happen. And so make sure that when you're building your business, I guess if we're on the giving advice here, take an assessment of what you really want to do in your business and things you love in your business, and don't necessarily take yourself out of that seat. Because I felt I was driving home one day, I was like, my heart is pumping. Like, this is why I do this. Like, I'm a closer.
Yep, absolutely. You're 100%. Again, it's like when you start outsourcing and the systems and the deals and things are working without you, it actually, like, that's what we want, but then it leaves a massive hole to fulfill.
Right.
Because of all the things that we do as an entrepreneur. And it takes you have to be really strong, and you have to be super disciplined, and you need to identify that and really work on it. You really have to work on it to be able to, not do them things. Like you just said, like I remember when I was just on the phone for 12 hours a day and then finally got someone on the phone for me, it was just like a relief, but then scared to death at the same time, because now what am I going to do, and and it was brutal. And then you just get anxious, and and it's something that you just have to, work through. But I think, again, solid advice where people need to do, focus on what you're good at and outsource your weaknesses. Look who it is.
Is it? Do we have Dodge? Oh my goodness.
We can't hear you. We can see you.
Oh, he's on a plane.
You're not in the air. Are you in the air? No. Okay, he's taking off.
He's taking off.
That's awesome. Well, at least you're not lying to us, and you really are on a plane.
I'm in your town, Dodge. I'm sitting here in St. Louis. You're not here, man. What's going on? I know you can't say anything.
Hello. That's great. All right. Well, anyway, I don't know what he was saying, but that was funny. I don't even know where he is going.
He spoke at a RIA in I'm not even sure where. So he's out for a day. He's actually coming home back to St. Louis right now. He's on his way back to St. Louis. So
okay, when do you leave?
I leave Saturday. I'm here till Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And when's the event over?
Friday afternoon.
Oh, okay. 3 days.
Yeah. 3 days. Mm-hmm.
This is day one. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. He's just completely derailed us coming in. I don't even know what we're talking about.
We were talking about do it, not giving up what makes your blood pump in your business.
Yeah, that's point. Right.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Make sure you're doing things to keep you alive. Like I would rather, at this point in my journey, realize that I like to get in and close more and get in and close. I mean, I'm going to be specific about the deals, but that's what I love to do. So, Don't feel like when we're talking about scaling your business, I guess was the point that you have to give everything up or hand everything over. If you love the dispo, if you love the admin, if you love closing, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure most people that hear this will probably feel the same way. But I took myself completely out, and I'm a hunter, and I haven't felt as alive. I have some of our mastermind members, students and stuff like that have come to me and said, we got a couple of deals or big deals, and we want you to we're going to give you this information. We want you to close them for us, and we'll give you something for it. And that just that offer, like, it made my blood pump. It's like that's what I love to do. So it's just want to share that to realization. We're talking about just building the business you want, Like, just make sure at the end of the day you're happy with what you're doing, and your people around you are happy, and your family's happy, and you're really doing this for the right reasons, and you're getting what you want out of it. I guess is the point I want to make.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So, guys, if you're watching us, I know a few of you are watching here, put in your questions if you have any. It is going to be a shorter session today because Don's at his event and he's got to get back in there. And I have no plug. I'm not plugged in because, anyway, I don't want to tell you. But I'm here. That's the main thing. We showed up. We're here. So if you have got questions, put them in. Don, how's your target going for your goal that you're doing?
It's going pretty good. I mean, I am about at the end of this month, I will be about a third there, which gives me another 30 days to get another 2/3. But I think the momentum I'm building right now, I might actually pull it off.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah. That's good. Good for you.
Yeah.
Matt's got a question.
I can't read that.
Do you guys overcomplicate things?
So, do we overcomplicate things? Do you, Gavin?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I don't. I try, I always say less is more. I try to keep things simple, especially when it comes to systems and team. I've always found that the more like crazy your system is, and it does this and it does that, and it gets like has all these like nuts and bolts, but then it needs an operator, right? And then it needs an operator that can fix it. And sometimes keeping it simple and not overcomplicating it is better, because then they can actually do the find the solution themselves and fix things themselves, right? So the goal is not to overcomplicate, Matt. But yeah, I'd be lying if I say we don't. Of course, I think we. I don't know about Don, but I do, because I think you're always trying to find something as well. You're trying to add things, right? Even in like coaching offers or outside of real estate, you're like, oh, we could do this and do that, and we put that, and we could add this and add that and add the other. Now you're just complicating it. Now you're just trying to add a ton of value, but it's just now, you kind of lost yourself in it. So yeah, we do all the time. What do you think?
I mean, I think just human nature to overcomplicate things. And Matt, VIP Matt, we had him on. He's been in my sphere for a little bit. I know Matt overthinks things. I think it's human nature. I think that a lot of us getting into business will overthink it and make it more complicated than it is when we're trying to get going. I think once you build a business, when you're trying to build what you think you want or what you think somebody else has, we end up putting in too many moving parts and end up with the business we don't want. I've done that, and so, yeah, I mean, the answer is yeah, but I think being self-aware and checking yourself and stopping and saying, okay, is this what I really want? Or am I making this harder than what it really needs to be? Am I being coachable in this moment? If you have that self-awareness, that emotional maturity, I think that's a good thing. I think that human nature is to always be scared and to throw up roadblocks, and overcomplicating things is one of those. I think it's a defense mechanism, honestly, to keep us from taking action or to maybe even self-destruct sometimes. So, that's I'll throw that out there. So if you find yourself, you feel like you're overcomplicating, like, stop and ask why, and what can you be doing differently, and what's the real outcome, if you do things, follow through with it or do it differently. So
yeah, absolutely. There's nothing better, and it's and it's hard to do, but it's what we all need to do. Is sometimes when you kind of just have you kind of come out your own body and just do a bird's eye view of what's going on, and you can normally, when you do that, you can think a lot clearer. Like you can put yourself on the ground and see, like, you as this person thinking these things, and these are the things that are happening. And as you're looking down, you go, well, why is he doing it? Why don't we do it this way? And then that's the person that's having them thoughts. So sometimes that works really good. So good stuff. John's saying here, he's looking to add 400 to 500 square foot for a master bed bath in the garage. Would you be interested in partnering when I find a deal?
He had a question above that, right, Don? Right?
He did.
Yeah.
Oh,
right
he
there,
did.
Don. Yeah.
Okay. Don, I'm mailing out 4,000 letters a month to the same list for the next 4 months in SF. I'm looking for a 2-bed, 1-bath, less than 1,000 square foot.
And then he's looking to do an addition. San Francisco is its own beast. I mean, I'd be interested in looking at whatever deal it is you find and having a conversation about it. There's different areas of the Bay Area that are less challenging than others. San Francisco, you got to basically pull a permit to paint the property. So the right project I'd be interested in looking at and having a conversation about. And if I'm not the right fit, I can definitely point you in the right direction to somebody who might be. When you get into some of the other areas of the Bay Area, where adding square footage, increases the value of the property significantly, then, that don't have the same kind of challenges San Francisco has, then I'd be definitely excited to have the conversation. But for the right property in San Francisco, I'd be willing to take a look at it for sure. That's what he asked, right? If I want a partner.
So, I think he was just saying, absolutely. Awesome. Matt said here, great advice. We don't have any other questions right now, guys. Any last questions? Oh, we do. Hold on, my mouse isn't working.
There you go.
I contacted the DBI, and they said that it's 3 to 5 days over-the-counter permit process. Should increase value by 500K, in my opinion. So I guess, John, is this something that you've already got under contract, I guess?
Well, he said in the last one, basically, to reach out when he had something. He would reach out when he had something. So I'd be willing to look at it. Look, we have a property under contract right now in San Francisco. I think we put it under contract for 2.125. And, it was not, we didn't lock it up at a great deal. Or we've assigned it for a decent assignment fee. So in fact, that was just this last week, over the weekend. So we do stuff there. I don't typically rehab there in San Francisco in the city. I will look at a project if it's the right project. I won't do anything that's tenant occupied in any way, shape, or form in the Bay Area, just because it's a nightmare. Unless it's one hell of a deal, it's got to be like a screaming deal. So on the right project, Joe, John, I would, I'd be willing to have a conversation. But the point is that I have people, buyers and stuff in that market that may be great partners for you, or somebody you can wholesale to. So just make sure you keep me in the loop when you got something.
Yeah, I also want to say, John, as well, because he said in the comments that his numbers are off and I should have bought it. You never, in my opinion, especially when you're new, you never buy anything that you can't wholesale. So if no one else wants it, you do not buy it. That is kind of the red flag. If someone else and everyone wants it, then you should maybe look at buying it if you want to. But yeah, you should never buy something if the numbers don't work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, and don't buy in markets you don't understand. I think that's important. Now, for me, who's been rehabbing for a lot of years, there's times where like nobody will want a project, and I'll still do it and make money. But I know better, and so that's great advice, Gavin. When you're new, if no one else wants it, that's a huge red flag. So, and just to throw it out there for people who are watching, I don't think we ever plugged this, Gavin, but you do deals nationally. I do deals nationally. If you guys have deals, I can tell you right now that either we may be a buyer, we may be a partner, or we will have buyers in that market with our network that we can definitely help you move a property now. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. I love making money. I know you do too, Gavin. And so, if you got something you think is a deal, even if you think it's a deal and you want some advice and you want us to partner on helping you get rid of the property and buy it from you or help you wholesale it, reach out. I mean, I do that. I've done that recently. It's worked out really well for me. We did a JV on it. They got the seller to put their thumbs up and say, yeah, I'll take the price. We put it in contract form and TC'd the whole thing, disposed the whole thing, handled escrow form, everything. We did a split right down the middle on the assignment fee. We did all the back end work. All they had to do was get a seller to say yes. It was a great deal. They made great money. We made great money. I would love to do 100 of those next year.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my whole business.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
I mean, yeah, so
Right.
you're exactly right. Awesome. All right. What do you guys thought about 1.5 million new homes being built? What are you guys' thoughts on the 1.5 million new homes being built, the most in the past 50 years?
Is that?
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from either.
Yeah.
I don't know where that stat's coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I know right now that they can't build them fast enough to keep up with demand, and the second they can, we're gonna definitely see a shift in the market. Right now with supply chain issues, permit issues, and all kinds of other issues that you're running into in municipalities, builders cannot keep up with demand. In 2008, 2006, 2003, 4, and 5, they couldn't keep up with demand, and but they were able to move a lot faster because they didn't have the supply chain issues. And once they caught up with demand and interest rates went up as well, kind of at the same time, that's what dropped the market. Right now, I think demand will still be strong. It's hard to say for sure, what's going to change that, but builders aren't able to keep up. So unless interest rates get up kind of crazy, I think demand will stay strong. So I don't know if that's what Matt was alluding to or not. Even with the pledge to build all these houses, you still have supply chain issues. You still have, worker shortages. You still have permit issues. You can't just decide you're going to build a house and pop one up. And that's, the challenges that are slowing things down right now, keeping demand up.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we got another question here from Tim. I have a question about rehabs. When using hard money loan, how does the rehab draws normally work? Do they do weekly inspections?
That's going to depend on the hard money company and their policies. Some will do weekly inspections, some will do biweekly. It really generally what happens is you when you turn in, when you submit for your draw from that particular company, based on however their policy is, that's when they'll do their inspection. They don't just inspect to inspect. In my understanding, I don't use hard money, so just preface that. But my understanding is when you submit for your draw, they'll send whatever inspector out, or they'll have you submit pictures or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they'll go ahead and okay the draw in that case. So that's how it typically works.
Yep.
And yeah.
Yep, that's exactly how we've used it and how I understand it as well. They'll only do the draw. They're not just going to hand you the money and you're not working, right?
Right.
They'll do an inspection or pictures, and normally it's the difference is this a local hard money lender or is this a national? And then again, it'll be different. So it just depends on each lender, and they'll tell you exactly what they're going to do and what they need.
Right.
Yep.
And
Awesome.
I prefer private money because I don't want somebody holding my money hostage for an inspection. I just want my draw or whatever when it's time to do it, when I've outlaid the money and had the work done. So, but that's a whole different argument, a whole different discussion.
It is, and you're not wrong. There's nothing worse than it holding up, because you contractors, as soon as that last paintbrush goes on or that last thing that they do and their job's done, they want to be paid now, and then you have to wait for the draw. Like, you have to communicate all that as well. So yeah, private money is definitely the way to go. Plus, obviously, the rates are much better. So awesome. Well done. Anything else before we end? I know we've done about 35, 40 minutes here. And you need to get back learning in your event, see what nuggets you can pick up in there. But anything else, bud, from you?
No, I think we're good. I mean, at the end of the day, this was one of those kind of like, let's keep it real meetings. Like, I know we mention all the time, like, don't create a prison, create a business. want, but just kind of, I think we hammered home some of the challenges that people run into, as an entrepreneur, and I think it's a good place to leave it. Next week let's try to hammer in on closing some more, closing techniques and stuff like that. And we'll talk more about how I'm jumping in on some of these calls and closing deals because, like I said, it gets my blood pumping and some of the strategies maybe we use to do that. So.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to it. I think we have some guests as well next week. So yeah, guys, we appreciate it. Every Wednesday, 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 9 Pacific, we are Coffee with Closers, and myself, Don, and David Dodge will be bringing more guests on. So appreciate you all viewing. Give us a like, subscribe wherever you're watching, and we will see you